Hope everyone had a great day. Just one of those 2 hours of sleep for me. I think it was actually an hour and a half of sleep last night. Just to change the schedule. Nothing to be alarmed about. We have a force to be quiet. We have a Russian roulette with the straitjacket underneath it. We have the card Assumptions. We have the Fan. Ghosts and Ghouls. And the Warriors as she sleeps. Someone's taking a huge gamble trying to make someone be quiet. They're making assumptions, spreading gossip about their past. And the person they're talking about does nothing. The person that they're talking about or spreading the gossip about just sleeps. Rests well. Unless there's a schedule change, then it's just a different story. But they're resting well. Because anything that they have to battle about or have any concern about is already taken care of. Right? Who's taking care of the issues? Well, I would like to assume that the Most High is taking care of those issues. Some would assume that maybe it's ancestors, passed on loved ones and family members, friends, people that care about the sleeping one. Now that they've passed on, they have a whole new perspective on things. Right? They've recycled everything that they've thought. They look at everything totally different. And they're a fan of this sleeper. They're a fan. They know what the little warrior has been through, dealing with, continues to deal with, and how they portray themselves. Never once disrespecting the family lineage or anyone else. Never make assumptions, assuming that you know what's going on in someone else's life, or assuming what it is that they may need, whatever they're asking for. This card I made, I actually drew it, I think, was it yesterday? Yeah, I drew it yesterday. As I was out driving around, I saw a guy, and he had a hoodie on over his head, and he had his face down, and then he had his eyes just peering over the sign. And I assume that he was ashamed for holding up a sign. Now, if that was the case, that would be his business, right? But if that was the case, it's like, why is he ashamed? Is he ashamed because he does need money to feed his family, or is he ashamed because the sign is probably portraying something different than what it is actually he needs it for? Again, it's not my business. I don't think people realize how easy it is for anybody to become homeless, or to the point where they're asking for money on the street. I do have to say, though, I was in a different area, and I noticed there was a couple of ladies that was holding up a sign asking for money for a funeral for a child that they were asking for money for a funeral at least 3 or 4 years ago. Same child. They just moved cities. And they came to my car and they didn't even ask me. And it's like almost like they recognize, and I know that's far-fetched, but it's almost like they recognize that, or heard my mind saying, you guys were just in another county not like a few years ago. And had she come to my car, I may have said something. And I'm thinking how sad for the picture of that actual child. Because every time, I mean, I guess if you want to be positive about it, maybe it's like a savings account for when that day happens, because everybody has their appointment and everybody's going to have their day. And so maybe they'll be prepared at that point. But I don't know. Again, assumptions. It's not my business. Yet here I am talking about it, right? Like it is my business. I think I make it my business in this conversation because I just don't like, it just doesn't feel good being lied to. It doesn't feel good having your kind heart or your kindness taken for granted. Even though we want to say, you know, this person didn't know any better, maybe they were under some kind of false advice or guidance, or maybe they heard some gossip, some stories that weren't true and they believed it. Whatever the reason for whatever people do stuff, does it make the ouch go away? Does it make the ouch feel a little different? I don't think so. So what do? You wish them well. You hope they heal. You say prayers. Dear God, forgive them. Please handle it the way that you see fit. Because that's all that matters. Maybe they'll learn something from the situation. And sometimes the exact thing that they need to learn is by the person that they betrayed by walking away. So they can't betray him again. I guess you'd have to go with how you feel about that though, right? I don't know. I guess if it should ever knock on my door or come in my face, I guess I would have to make the decision based on how I feel in the moment. But right now, honestly, I think that anyone I've ever known in my past or previous who turned their back on me for whatever reason, who didn't talk to me before listening or believing the gossip, who didn't care about me enough to inquire, you know, I'll let them say their piece, because maybe if they get it off their heart, maybe they'll be able to let the whole situation go and the energy can be released. And then maybe our contact or our connection at that point will be severed enough so that they can let go and move on, because I've already let go and moved on. And I think the only reason why it's being brought up now is because perhaps there's someone out there still thinking about what they did or didn't do. And I'd have to say, you know what, it's okay. Yeah, it hurt at the time, but it made me better. It made me stronger. It made me aware. Was it necessary? Probably not. Does it have purpose? I'd say so. Sometimes you don't know what that purpose is until later. Maybe it's just to have the purpose in order to share the information for someone else who might be going through something similar. Who knows? We've got a rat in the mix. Oh, a dirty little rat. Again, an assumption. It could just be a pack rat. Maybe someone needs to clear their house, go through their closet, get rid of some stuff. Maybe you too are still holding on to things from the past that need to probably have a new home. You could always donate it. There's lots of people who need stuff. who want stuff. Little pack rat mentality, you know, could go with your thoughts and your feelings and the things that you've dealt with and experienced in life. Sometimes you can hold on to those way too long. Oh, we've got our honey pot. Our little honey pot. A sticky situation. Huh. Honey attracts bees, or actually made by bees. Maybe it has something to do with someone with the initial of a B. Someone's being forced to be quiet. Ooh, it's a sticky situation, all right. And it probably has to do with a rat. Like a rat. We've got a rainbow, though. So we could change the perspective and think that honey is something sweet, right? And maybe someone's being forced not to talk about whatever this something sweet thing is. You don't want to tell everybody about the sweetness that's happening on behind the scenes. There's a promise here. Oh, we've got the Justice card with balance. Balancing the scales. It's also my Libra card. Hard to see. I have some other pens coming that I'm hoping that maybe I can fix it so you can see it underneath the lights like this. We'll see how it goes. I hope I don't go too crazy and overhanded with it. So we've got a promise of balancing the scales. We have a promise of justice. A promise of making things right. And I would have to say that it's probably connected to the ancestors or the passed on loved ones that we saw in the split of the deck, right? Because the shush was there too. So it probably has something to do with that. In case you guys don't know, you can speed up the video once it posts. So you don't have to, if I'm talking too slow or whatnot, you could always make it go faster. You can even slow it down if you want. We've got a fan here. The bridge. Bridging the gap of the gossip, perhaps. Hierarchy. Oh, I wonder what kind of hierarchy we've got playing in our energy right now. We've got toilet tissue. The writing's on the wall. Clean up your act or your arse. And make sure you put the right things in the receptacles and not in the toilet, please. We've got our karma card. Smiling now, crying later. I've always cried now in order to smile later. I choose to smile now because there is things that are great in every single day, and I truly, wholeheartedly mean that. But I used to cry a lot. A lot. I used to be sad a lot. Like I'd sit there and be disappointed, or I would be like, why? Or I would be like, I don't understand. But then, and this is a good tactic for anyone who's interested. If you write down everything, like you journal, right? And then you go back to it maybe, 6 months or a year even, you start to notice a pattern of things. And after you start noticing a pattern of things, you just keep reading it and you're just like, why do I continue to even be sad? Why are you making the similar choices? It just ends you up in the same situation. It's just a different person who's doing it. So you got to ask yourself those questions. Right? The webs we weave. Clean up your karma. Someone could be wanting to clean up their karma with this warrior that seems to have to fight while she's sleeping. She probably doesn't realize that she needs to even have a fight or a battle or anything. We've got this science. Someone could be doing an experiment. I'm your #1 fan. Uh-huh. I'm rubber, you're glue. What you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Kind of like honey, right? So someone could be trying to come in and trying to give you maybe accolades and just say, you know what, I really like you. I have great admiration for you. You know, you've really handled all these situations with such self-respect and grace. You know, it didn't matter what was happening. It didn't matter what you were facing. It didn't matter what was being thrown at you or created behind the scenes. You just still took it very maturely. And what do you do with that? Oh, thanks. Like, it's a badge of honor. Like, why did I even have to go through all that? That was just silly. And like, are you wanting to come in and tell me all that now because you're seeing that maybe there's nothing else left to do? Let's see what the hierarchy is and what we're dealing with. I'm going to add 2 more cards to this. One is the Judgment Angel and the other one is the Judgment Angel, the Fallen Angel, and the Demonic Angel. Because I do have entities on here, and I do have Earth Angels, and I do have the others, but I would like to see if I can add those. And then it will make it easier to shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle. Fanning the flames on that burning bridge. I don't see any flames there, but I sure saw a lot of smoke today. We've got the archangels coming out again like we had yesterday, and I'm going to say the virtues. Hey, Google, can you tell me about the virtues, please, in the hierarchy of the angels?
In the traditional Christian hierarchy of angels, the virtues occupy the 5th rank. They belong to the 2nd sphere, which focuses on governing the cosmos and the laws of nature. Often referred to as the Shining Ones, they are primarily associated with working miracles on earth, bestowing blessings, and encouraging those who may be struggling with their faith. They are considered the spirits of motion, and are responsible for maintaining the order of the physical world. While different traditions offer various interpretations, they are generally seen as beings of great power and courage,